You make it all happen. You're the technical wizard. The little ones are doing well. Yeah.
You'll be sitting in a restaurant and you'll hear 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So my child
No, not at all.
We'll just do a quick sound check.
You guys, is it okay if Champ's here?
100%.
As long as you're good with it. So I'm gonna ask you to put your headphones on. All right. You gotta give me my finger, buddy.
Get that where it's comfortable in front of you too. It'll move around if you need to. It'll lower as well if you need it.
Can I go right there? Is that good?
Oh, I need mine.
It sounds good.
Where's mine?
I think it's good.
Oh, she's got my headphones.
Yep.
Hola, hola, hola.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. It's good. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello.
100%.
You hear everything good?
Yep.
Beautiful.
No, I got my rum drink.
Be looking out for us if we need something though. 'Cause okay. Oh, I love it. Yeah, so you can see us here. Yeah. So we're doing the YouTube live is going
Okay.
on right now.
Okay.
So it's hot mic, so don't say anything. And then also the 2 cameras, we'll post those later
Okay.
for the podcast.
Cool.
Oh, I also have a gift bag for you too. I don't know if I gave it to you, but there's your gift bag up there too.
Awesome.
All right, guys, if you guys wanted to, well, firstly, thank you so much for everyone being here. We have a legend right here. And Travis.
That's cold-blooded. My own wife.
Obviously, I know you guys will be quiet enough so you can hear, but I wanted to also see the YouTube live is now live. If you guys wanted to
Behind you.
tune in, and enjoy.
Lisa.
Have all
Just
the-
turn phones off.
Yeah.
Hey, just unturn the ringers off their phones and that's it.
Oh, and please turn your ringers off the phone. Very good. Thank you so much.
All right, buddy.
All right, you guys are good to go. You're good.
Some of the things we talked about too, we can bring up. Just throw them in there too.
Okay.
Just whenever.
Yeah.
They'll kind of,
Look,
it'll naturally
I came from
occur.
the Don King School of Media, so you might ask me a question, I'll answer something way over here.
I love that though. It's fine. That's how podcasts work. So I'm going to jump us right into it. This is Christy Martin. I'm sure everybody probably recognizes her. Christy had 59 pro fights, 49, 7-3. 2012 was your last pro fight, but I don't even like everybody knows all of that information, right? Like you're a legend. And I actually got to meet you back in 1998. I brought it up a couple times to you, and like I get it because I'm 41 now, about to be 42 actually in like 3 or 4 days. So I get the memory thing, and you see so many people that just kind of it blurs together a little bit. But I was just a little kid. I was 13 years old, and I fought in the National PAL tournament. I beat Anthony Durrell in the finals, by the way. Anthony, what's up? Became a world champion, no big deal. But I got to meet you. I got to have dinner with you actually. And you probably don't even remember it, but I have a picture that I'm going to show you a little bit too. I got to train at your gym that you had here in Orlando too. But I just kind of want to throw it to you just a little bit. What's it like being Christy Martin?
Boring. Look, I am so low key. I am truly the coal miner's daughter from small town Southern West Virginia, and nothing has changed. I mean,
Love that.
did I make it in boxing? Yeah, I think I kind of made it.
You 100% made it.
Don King was my promoter. Was fighting under Mike Tyson, fighting on Showtime, HBO, doing some cool stuff, fighting in Madison Square Garden in Vegas. But I never forgot who I am,
Yeah,
or where I came from. And speaking of where I came from, I'm coming back to APK, baby. I'll be
Let's
back in Florida
go.
next month.
You're moving back here?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
APK.
That's a Apopka, right?
Apopka.
Oh my gosh. How awesome is that? And you know what? I got to throw that out there too is, so like I'd met you a couple different times. You probably don't remember either, but about 4 or 5 years ago, there was this like big conference that you came and did a thing called, it was in this corner. And it was this conference that you were, I don't even know how to explain what was going on, but I got a picture too. I'm going to show you that too. And you'll probably remember after I show you the picture possibly. It was like 4 or 5 years ago at the convention center in Orlando, but backwards, Craig Duncan, who I've known for a little bit too. And obviously, you've trained Craig or been a part of Craig's life since he was in the amateurs. Craig kind of bridged that gap between me and you to come on the podcast. What a small world. And now you're moving back to Apopka where Craig has his own gym, the Danger Team Boxing. He's training some of your fighters too, right?
Absolutely.
How cool is that?
We're gonna
What
build
full circle.
Amen. God is good. God brought Craig back to my life, and I'm so happy. But look, we're building champions together. How awesome is that? Craig came to my gym when he was probably, I think, maybe still in high school or just out of high school. Had some amateur fights, wore the white and pink trunks, and it was awesome. It was, look, here comes this guy, Craig Duncan, could punch like a mofo.
Oh my gosh,
right?
it's so true.
And he has on white and pink trunks. And so the guys
like,
are
you
like,
better be tough.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But the guys are like, can't lose to that guy. And then he goes up there and knocks him out.
Yeah.
It was so awesome. So now fast forward all these years, and to have fighters coming there to train with them. We have Victor Hernandez is training there. We have actually Curtis Harper in the house.
Curtis
who,
Harper, what's up? Was on the
we
podcast
just
as
signed
well.
with Christy Martin Promotions. He's getting trained
go,
by Craig
Kurt.
Duncan. And then Tobar Apochi is coming down this week. So that's 3 of our fighters that are going to be right there in the Danger Team house.
That's awesome. I love that. And you know what I love too is I see this in a lot of different sports. Some people compete and they grow up their whole lives doing a sport, amateur then professional. And then once they retire, they're just like, I'm so done with this. And they just run away from it completely. And maybe you've had your moments with that too. But what I love about it now is that you don't. You're embracing it. You're just like, listen, I'm Christy Martin. I love boxing and I'm going to continue with the sport, whether it's promoting, whether it's training, whether it's doing all that stuff. So like, I appreciate you. I feel like you're an ambassador to boxing and we need more of that because it's true. There's a lot of people that peace out and they don't really promote boxing in a positive way. And like, I feel like it's changed your life. You've been through so much through boxing, right? Without boxing, for myself, what's my identity? I don't even know. It's boxing since I was 6 years old. So I feel like what's your identity without boxing? What would you be doing without boxing?
My degree is in education. So I would be teaching school in Southern West Virginia. That's what I would be doing.
And you're teaching boxers though.
And so now because of boxing, I've seen lots of places in the world on somebody else's dime. I've met a lot of really cool people and made relationships that I would have never even dreamed about. So boxing is a great vehicle for so many people. I mean, you don't have to be a boxer, professional boxer, but just being in the gym and that energy and that love that you find in a boxing gym makes everything better.
Craig says it all the time and I agree with him. We had on the podcast, boxing is for everyone. Maybe not competing, but boxing in general with the fitness level of it, the discipline level of it, just being in a professional boxing gym or an amateur boxing gym or whatever, just being around that. I feel like it's so positive for everybody.
100%. I mean, it just changes everything. You go in the gym and sometimes like you're feeling a little bit like grumpy, you're not feeling it that day.
Yeah.
But you go in the gym and then first thing you know, somebody's going to give you a big sweaty hug.
Yep.
And then, you start hitting the bag and all of a sudden, the blood starts moving and you start feeling better.
Yep.
And it's just, there's nothing like being in a boxing gym. And that's what I've tried to tell people. I use boxing with domestic violence awareness. And the first response is, oh my God, that's fighting. No, it isn't.
It's different.
Go into a boxing gym and understand and feel the love. And the people that go into boxing gym, for the most part, those kids
You always have the
are
one
not-
percenters or whatever.
are not coming
outliers.
from a house that everything is good. So that's where we need to start breaking the cycle, start talking to people about domestic violence awareness. The boxing gym is the place to be.
It is. I mean, boxing, this is what I love about boxing too is, so I grew up in a very small town, population 400. I started boxing in the town over at 6 years old. It was crazy at a YMCA. Population 400,
Where are you from?
Osborne, Missouri. So it's Northwest Missouri. It's about 50 miles north of Kansas City, Missouri. I graduated with 15 people in my graduating
Wow.
class.
At
So
86, and I thought I was small.
exactly. Like when people always tell me these small stories, I'm like, how small though? And then they tell me that, I'm like, nah, I got you beat. 15.
Wow.
I graduated with 15 people. And I fought at Madison Square Garden as well. I fought all over the world. I fought in Denmark. I fought in France. I trained in Australia. And I don't know why or how I was supposed to do that, but that's why I believe in God. And me and Craig, we really connect with that stuff too, because my dad didn't box. None of my family boxed. I was the first in our family to box. My younger brother's actually professional too. So we all caught the bug, but I just believe God put boxing gloves on me, and I'm still here. I'm 41, about to be 42. And I'm still involved in boxing. I have my own private gym. I train people. I've been a promoter as well. I've been a manager. I've been a promoter. I've been a fighter, 46 pro fights. I fought the best in the world, which we can talk about that actually now. That's a good segue, is that one of the best fighters I ever fought was Terrence Crawford though. I'm one of only like 9 or 10 guys who go the distance with Terrence Crawford. I fought him in the pros and with the distance, but I want to get to my very first ever professional boxing loss was to Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And why that's relevant is because he just fought last night, because we're recording on a Sunday. He fought last night on DAZN against none other than Jake Paul. What did you think about that?
So, let me tell you the big story. So we ordered the pay-per-view last night. We're sitting there and we're trying very hard to stay awake. And because
it was late.
because we're old, we fell asleep. So I just watched it just a couple
replay.
hours ago. And come on. I don't know what to say about the fight. Let me just not say anything.
That's
Yay for
saying
Jake
stuff in
Paul.
itself.
For what Jake Paul's doing for fighters and for what he's doing for women's boxing specifically, big kudos. What he's doing for fighters such as Tony Aguilar, one of my fighters that has fought under his card, under his promotion.
A couple of most valuable prospects, yep.
Like 3 times he fought under Jake and Mike Perry. Great exposure, and they got paid.
Yep.
Great for young fighters. I appreciate him. I appreciate what he's doing for women's boxing, big time. I mean, he's given Amanda Serrano a stage that no fighter, male or female, could really dream about. He's not even doing that for another male fighter, to be honest.
Yeah. Did you know that Amanda Serrano made $8 million in her last fight?
I really think she should send me some.
Can you give us
Because what if it hadn't been for
You're the
Martin,
trailblazer,
if it hadn't been
right?
for Martin
You paved
Gogarty
the way.
in 1996 to open up people's eyes to women's boxing, would women's boxing even be?
No, it
So
wouldn't.
see,
You paved
just
the
a
way.
just a small little stipend.
So listen, Amanda, Jake, can you just do us all a favor, and for the trailblazers
little hookup
of
Just a little.
professional women's boxing, Christy Martin, who was also on the cover of Sports Illustrated in 1996, the first woman boxer ever to be on the cover of
And
Sports
only.
Illustrated, and only. I didn't know that. That's even more amazing. But Christy Martin, you are a legend. You're a
Thank
Hall
you.
of Famer. It's been a pleasure having you on the podcast. I like people. It's very hard for people to understand the level of what you are at and what you have become, for sure. I mean, Sydney Sweeney's playing you in a movie that's being released next month or whenever it is, but she's playing you in a movie. Sydney Sweeney is playing you in a movie.
It's crazy, isn't it?
How do you feel about that?
So I asked him, I'm like, look, they did a really great job making Sydney Sweeney look like me. Hey, can you guys make me look like her? No one bought into that, but yeah,
pretty
it's
good.
pretty awesome. And she went to the gym. She actually had done MMA before when she was
I
a
know that.
teenager, so she has that competitive drive.
Yeah.
She went to the gym. She did boxing. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
People are going to appreciate the boxing scenes. You
Yep.
know, lots of fight films. You know, you all, oh my god, that was terrible.
Yeah,
that was
the boxing's
terrible.
not good. Most of them.
It's good.
Yeah, I
It's
seen
good.
a TMZ video of you and Sydney Sweeney in the boxing ring, punching back and forth. How was that kind of getting to see an actress playing you in a movie, but also in the ring?
It's crazy. It was crazy. I'm in the back, jumping up and down, knock him out, knock him out. You know, I was going nuts.
That's
She did a
wild.
great job. I mean, she really, really did a great job. I can't wait. I cannot wait for everybody to see it and us to really be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm
You
told I'm
can't,
not supposed to
obviously.
talk
Yeah,
about it.
That's
but
fine. That's fair. So with that being said, this is going to happen a lot tonight. We're going to get sidetracked, but I want to go back to the Chavez story because you have a Chavez story, Chavez Jr. and a Chavez Sr. story about those guys. And he just fought Jake Paul, so that's why it's relevant. But also, what's the story that you have about Chavez, Daddy Chavez, and Baby Chavez?
So I was fortunate enough to fight on several of the Daddy Chavez shows.
Hall of Famer. Man.
Hall of Famer, one of my favorite fighters. As I'm fighting on his shows, I'm getting, you know, a lot of Mexican support. And then all this time passes. I come back and I do one fight with Top Rank and Bob Arum. Well, let me go back. When I was fighting on those Chavez cards, Chavez Jr. was coming in on Buffalo's shoulders.
That's so wild.
He was just a little boy, like 5 maybe.
Oh my God.
So here we go. Fast forward. I'm fighting for Top Rank. Who's the main event? Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
That's
So all this time
wild.
passes and I'm on Junior's undercard after being on his dad's undercard. So I think what that really says is I stayed around too long. But
no, that means that you have longevity.
maybe,
Okay, you have longevity, and you've been around because of that.
maybe. But it was really awesome though. And Senior was there. Junior was awesome to me. Still is every time I see him. Yeah, it's special. It was special. Come on, I stayed
mean,
around long
right?
enough to, you know, to
Yeah,
fight on Junior's card.
I think it's special. So, with that being said, when was there a moment in your professional boxing career that you were like, I should probably hang it up? Because you said you think you went on too long, but did you ever feel that when you were fighting? Did you ever feel that moment you're just like, man, I'm it's past my prime? Did you ever have that moment to where you're just like, I think I'm done?
The very truth is, looking back on my career, and I knew this, when the fight with Lucia Riker did not happen and that fight was canceled, my heart and my love for boxing was gone. And so I should have retired at that moment. And all
Because
those
of the
losses that
cancellation?
came after that fight. Yeah, because that was like, what can I do now? Like, this was the fight that everybody talked about. Lucia Riker, she's going to kick your ass, Christy. No, let me show you she's not.
Yeah.
And then when it went away and it wasn't going to happen, what do I do next? I mean, there was no one else out there. There was no, you know, there wasn't that Ali Frazier. There wasn't that other person.
Yeah.
So I just kind of stayed around
You lost
chasing
the fire.
paydays, and the fire was gone.
Yeah. And you felt that then.
Absolutely.
But did you know it in that moment, or did you just kind of like buried it away? You're just like, no, just stop. I'm gonna keep fighting.
I kind of knew at that moment.
Yeah.
And then right after that, I took a fight with Holly Holmes. And I mean, when I say right after that, just a few weeks later, I took the fight with Holly Holmes. I'm in round 6, sitting on the stool, Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I'm supposed to be in Las Vegas fighting Lucia Riker for $1 million. And I'm in BFE, Albuquerque, New Mexico, fighting Holly Holmes, not fighting her, chasing her.
Yeah.
For like whatever, $50,000. Come on.
I mean, that's a
No,
big
it
difference.
sucked.
$1 million to 50 G's.
Yes. Yes. And so the truth is, I knew right then. I knew before then.
Do you remember
but
how
it
old you were
confirmed
then?
it.
Do you remember how old you were then?
No, old. I don't
Hey,
know.
easy, because if I'm 41 right now, and
I was
don't
younger
think
than
that's
41.
old. So you were not old.
I was
Stop
younger
it.
than 41.
And I'm gonna say why you're not old, because we both know this. Holly Holm just fought last night on the Deontay. No, she fought on the
She fought
was-
on the
was the
Jake
Deontay?
Paul.
That was Jake Paul. Yeah,
Yep.
she fought on the Jake Paul undercard, and
Yep.
she's what, 40 something.
She's
years old?
43, but
Yeah.
she was a lot younger than me.
Obviously, that was,
14 years younger than me.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
So, also looking at your record, I've got multiple stories about you, which is crazy. So there's this lady. I don't mean to bring this up because it was a loss, but it doesn't matter. But Samaya Anani. And I'm going to tell you why I bring that up, though, is it's so funny. This is how things come full circle. So I was 15 years old. She's from Kansas City, Missouri. Lee Summit, Kansas, which is like right by Kansas City, Missouri. I sparred with her at 15 years old.
Did she headbutt you?
Okay, but this is why I love that, because I sparred with her, and I was a national champion at 15. I was a bronze medalist in Junior Olympics. Like, I was a really good fighter, and I sparred. They put me to spar with her, and she had the hardest head of anybody that I'd ever, to this day, spar. When I hit her, it felt like I was hitting a cinder block. So I wanted to ask you, when you fought her, what was that like? Because we sparred, we had headgear on, and I still hit her, and it felt like cinder blocks. What was it like to fight Samaya?
Samaya was her style was difficult in the fact that she would 1-2 headbutt, 1-2 headbutt, and
awkward.
I kept complaining to the referee that she's headbutting me, and the fight just kept going on, and she kept headbutting. By the time the fight was over, both eyes were closed, and I lost the. Did I lose majority decision?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was a close fight, obviously.
It was close. Yep. And I tried to get a rematch, but they wanted crazy money. And then now they want to say that I wouldn't give them a rematch. Well, Don King wasn't going to pay you, $100,000. That wasn't that kind of money there at the time.
It's just wild to know that I sparred with a woman who fought you in the pros, but her head was so hard. So if she headbutted you, I hit her in the head.
Yeah.
And it felt like a cinder block. So when she headbutted you, I can't even imagine what you were going through.
She had cornrows. So it was like she bam, bam, and then hit you with her head. I have all these still photos with her head in my eyes.
You know what's crazy is, so I'm also friends with her on Facebook, and she had found out that you were coming on the podcast, and she'd reached out and she said, please tell her I said hi and hope everything's going well. This was ages ago, Christy, but she did say that. But I just, it's wild to me, like how full circle boxing is.
Hold on. She may have said that. But now last year we were at the Women's Boxing Hall of Fame, right? Everybody's getting up, doing their acceptance speech. And you're at the Hall of Fame. Even if you don't like somebody, you got to be nice, right? It's a Hall of Fame. She gets up there and calls me out and says, I will not fight her a rematch. Are you kidding me? I'm 56 years old. And trust me, I would fight you today if you wanted to. But come on.
I want to see that. Can I promote that?
Yes.
So she was still talking smack.
I'm like, come on. So don't try to be nice to me now. You get up in front of all these people and call me out, basically.
Yeah.
Basically, you did.
You did, yeah.
And then no. So I'm not going to accept that.
That's fair. That's okay. That's 100%. So this was back in, so I think it was 1998. I think you fought her around 1998. I think it was, because I just came down to Florida, and I qualified for the National PAL, and I fought. And so this is the picture. So I have two pictures to show you. I'm going to hand this over to you. Okay. So I'm going to hand it to you, but swipe this way. There's 4. Yeah. Okay. So swipe that way. And it's pretty wild because this was at Disney's Wild World of Sports. So it's a picture of a picture. That's why it's really grainy and terrible. That's my dad. That's you. And then at the time, Jim as well. But to me, and we had to actually train at your guys' gym. I have a picture in front of your gym too in Orlando. This is Jim Martin's gym. And I got to train there the whole week we were here. And you have no idea, 1998, when I went home, how much I was bragging about I got to train at Christy Martin's gym. I got to meet Christy Martin. You were walked around the so I was pretty good by that time. I'd won 2 national championships. I was only 15. I won the national silver gloves twice, back to back, and then I just won the national PAL as well. And then went to your gym and sparred with a couple of the local kids that fought in the national PAL. But I was just like, I was on cloud 9. I was like, this is Christy Martin. That's all right. This is Christy Martin. I got to train at your gym. I got to meet you. We had dinner. Like, to me, like I was just like, listen, it's game over. I peaked. I feel like I peaked at 13 years old. Because that was the national. I was like, I peaked 13. I mean, I don't know what the rest of my life's going to be like, but I feel like I peaked because I got to hang out with Christy Martin. We got to train at your gym. Your gym was kind of cool at the time too. I thought it was a pretty cool gym. It was like older wood floors, things like that. I thought it was a really cool gym. Never been back, but obviously I got to train there. So I don't know. I want to thank you for that. Like that experience. And you probably don't even realize that experience, it kind of helped my life and shaped and molded my, I'm like, I want to be that one day. I want to be that person one day that somebody gets to hang out with me and they're telling stories about me later on.
That's awesome. That's
So
awesome. And you know what
that.
the best thing about it is? Like I wasn't an asshole to you. Because if you said, you know what, you met me and I tried to meet you and you were just a jerk. You wouldn't even talk to me. Then I'm, oh man.
No, thank God for sure. Because I do have a story like that about a pro boxer.
I have a story about that about a lot of people.
Yeah, right? Like they always say you never want to meet your idol or your person because like it'll be not what you
Yep.
think it is. But this person, and okay, I'm gonna preface this because this person now we are okay. We are okay now, and I've had the conversation with him, but he's gonna come on the podcast too. But Antonio Tarver, I met Antonio Tarver at the National Pal as well. 13 or 14 years old. He was an amateur at the time. He tried to charge me for a picture and an autograph.
Yeah, I know.
I'm a kid. I don't have any money. I'm 13, 14 years old. I have zero money. And I'm like, hey, can I get a picture with you? I'm not selling it. Like, I'm a kid. Like, I don't even care. Yeah, $20. I'm like, I looked at him like, huh?
Right.
I was like, for a picture? Yeah, $20. I'm like, oh my gosh, never forgot it. And then fast forward, when he fought Bernard Hopkins on HBO pay-per-view, I fought Jorge Paez Jr. on the same card. And I met him out there. He was super nice then, and I wasn't. I still remembered it. I'm 22 years old,
right?
And I was like, he was all nice to me. Now I'm like, I was like, I go, fuck you. Like, I don't care. I really don't. I don't. Because like, I'm here already. Oscar De La Hoya was promoting the card. I'm like, I'm listen. I'm not on his level. He won a world title. He did all this stuff. He did a bunch of amazing things. But I was just like, screw you. I don't really care.
Yep.
And he was so nice to my whole family and all this stuff. And I was like, I don't care. I remembered that.
Yep.
But that's why I want to tell other people. I'm just like, listen, sometimes take a picture or an autograph. Like, it takes 2 seconds. Like, you never know.
Right.
And I also get people are going through different things at different moments, whatever. It is true too. But also, I was a kid. He was at a boxing match, amateur tournament, and he turned it down.
And he was still fighting amateur.
Amateur. He wasn't even pro yet.
Oh, I know.
So I saw him a couple years ago at here at the Crib Royale at one of the Box Lab cards, and he was there, and we had a conversation about it. We exchanged phone numbers. We text back and forth now. We're cool now. I'm older now, obviously. But still, I told him, I was like, dude, that affected me for like 20 years, man.
Yeah.
It did.
And we don't understand what one little kind word, it may mean nothing to us. It can change somebody's day, it can change their week, it can change their year, it can change their life.
100%.
You just never know. And so I try really hard to always remember that. You know what? Just take one extra breath, just one extra second, and talk to somebody. Because you know, sometimes you walk through a place and there's people are, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? And you want to say no because you really have someplace you want to be, or you just are tired or whatever. But just one more second, just 1 second, and you can change someone's life.
I mean, honestly, you did. Like I have so many positive stories about you, and this is not a bad thing, but you didn't know who the heck I was at all. You wouldn't even remember me at all if you see me again. But you affected my life in a positive way, and I have positive stories to tell about you, and I'm appreciative of that. And I hope everybody is too. Here's the picture of your gym. I forgot that. So it was a team from Kansas City. My dad coached the team, and that was the picture of the gym. That's a little bit better of a picture, but that's a picture in a picture. But that was the gym that we trained at.
Yep. That's
and
cool.
Every single one of these guys I still chat with too. One of those guys actually won the National Golden Gloves as well. But it's just cool to have those memories, to know that like we trained at Christy Martin's gym.
That's
and
cool.
She was actually awesome.
I appreciate that. I really do. And that's what, even then, I mean, kind of at the height of the new celebrity.
Yeah. You could have been standoffish to us and we would have been fine.
And what people don't know about me is I really am shy. So it's hard for me to walk into a room. Like if I walk into a room, I can just sit over in the corner, and I'm not trying to be rude or not be friendly. I'm just shy.
That's just who you are.
I'm just shy. Like Lisa, my wife, she's gonna know everybody and their middle name and their mama and everything before she leaves the room. Not me. I'm gonna go sit in the corner somewhere. But if you come to me and talk, I'll talk to you all day long. But it's just, I'm just shy.
Yeah. You're so right about that. Some people that can come across as being standoffish, that can come across as being too good, but it's not. You're just being shy. You know what's funny though, that you brought it up, Lisa? You boxed Lisa in the pros, didn't you?
I did.
You guys fought each other in the pros.
And I won. And I think she's out of the room, right? So I can talk about it. I think she's out of the room. So yeah. No. So here's the story on that fight.
Tell us before she gets back, because we have a live audience.
I'm gonna try to be fast. It was my last fight with Don King. Didn't know it was gonna be my last fight with Don King, but my contract ended. We didn't resign, and they sent me all these people to watch. You know, do you want this person? Do you want that person? And I don't want to fight this big girl that has a really good right hand. But I ended up fighting that big girl with a really good right hand. So for the first and only time in my boxing career, I boxed. So anybody, stayed away, watched me. I actually boxed. I show people I have skills.
Yeah.
But I used my speed. I moved, I threw combinations, slip, slide, and had fun. But it was a hard fight, and I had to be on my game like every second of every round because she's strong. She's way stronger than me.
That's
But
so
I won
awesome.
like almost every round. I think all the rounds.
So, does that ever come up in the
Oh my
relationship
God.
at all?
I tried for it not to. And, we were boxing things all the time.
Yes.
What happens? We're sitting there, we're at dinner, everything is good. And all of a sudden somebody walks up and says, like, oh my God, I just watched you guys fight. I'm like, ah, shit. Because there it goes. This meal was so good up until that moment. And then I have to listen to, she has excuses, why she
Well-
didn't beat me. Like, I'm like, but everybody has excuses why they didn't beat me.
Yep.
Anyway, it is what it is. Yes, it's,
But you guys
it's
obviously
still a
powered
touchy
through it.
subject.
It's still touchy, huh?
Yes.
That's really funny.
Yes. Not too long ago, we were in the boxing gym and we were shadowboxing. And sometimes when you shadowbox with each other, kind of
Mhm.
as if you're fighting each other.
Yeah, just joking around.
She hits me right on the chin. I have a bruise. I had a picture actually. I have a bruise.
Oh my gosh.
Her knuckle right on my chin.
Lisa
Yes.
did this to you.
Yes.
I feel like we're gonna get her.
Yeah, we
tonight,
should call her
possibly.
out on that one when she
We
comes back
definitely
in.
should call her out on that one.
Yeah, that's the truth.
You
That
know,
is 100% the
you
truth.
know that was accidentally on purpose.
Absolutely.
There was a little flashback.
Yes.
You triggered her. What
Yes.
happened was you triggered her
Yes.
from the past fight. All the stuff she's heard over the years. She's like, I can beat Christy.
Yeah.
I can get
Well,
her.
so I'll tell you before she gets back here, and then she'll tell you if she gets an opportunity. So there's no woman that ever knocked me down. I mean, even Layla, I took a knee. She didn't like knock me down.
Yep.
I was sparring Lisa, getting ready for the Riker fight, and I leaped in to throw a left hook, and leaving your feet, you should never do. She hit me with a little uppercut. Next thing I know, I'm on my butt, and I'm like, how did I get here?
This happened.
So she's the only woman that ever knocked me down. Now I got
Look
dropped.
legit.
I got dropped by guys sparring several times, but she's the only woman that ever knocked me down.
I mean, that's pretty legit.
Yeah, but I was leaping. I shouldn't have done that.
See, you also have excuses too.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah, well, explanation. A little different. Excuse, explanation.
I love that. So your last ever pro fight was against Mia St. John.
Oh my God.
How did that go?
Okay, so I had a stroke about 7 months before that fight.
What?
Yeah, and the doctors told me don't get hit in the head again.
How what?
Yeah.
How did people know about
No, I
this?
had a real stroke. I was in the
Yeah.
hospital at Cedars-Sinai in LA for a couple weeks.
Oh my gosh.
And when I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk, I couldn't see. I still have double vision
How did you pass the medicals, or how were the medicals back then?
because I passed
That's
the
fine.
medicals because I had done the medicals to fight in California the year before for Dakota
Also,
Stone.
they hadn't expired, so they were
Hadn't
so good.
expired. So I was cleared to fight Mia St. John.
Oh my
And
gosh.
Mia actually knew I had a stroke. I told her. And then she tells me she's juicing. Afterwards, I find out she juiced. I'm like, are you kidding me? I had a stroke and you juiced? No. She beat me.
What?
She won. I was terrible. I mean, come on. When I lost to Mia St. John, I was like, oh my God, Christy, what are you thinking? They told you don't get hit in the head anymore. You cannot fight again after having a stroke, and you should have listened. But I didn't. So
what-
I learned the hard way.
What was that decision? You lost to that.
I lost.
You said
it.
years prior you already were like, I think I'm done.
Yeah.
But after you lost to her,
oh,
how were you? Did you announce your retirement?
Absolutely.
Did you? You're like, hey, I'm done. 'Cause
Yeah.
If I can't beat Mia St. John, I'm out of here.
absolutely. Just
Yeah.
like that. In
Yeah.
the ring, as soon as the fight was over, as soon as they announced the decision, I took the mic from the announcer, and you've seen me in the ring for the last time.
Yeah.
This is it.
And you stuck by it. You didn't ever fight
Absolutely.
again.
I haven't, but I have been offered a lot of money because now they're doing crazy stuff, right?
Yep.
But I still had a stroke.
That's so wild. I mean, I don't like. Thank God that you're okay.
Yeah.
Like, thank God that you're okay,
absolutely.
because that was pretty dangerous to fight that fight too.
Yes.
But the amount of money that they're probably offering now, because women's boxing is at another level, and Mike Tyson just fought Jake Paul, 59 years old.
Are you kidding me?
You're younger than Mike Tyson.
That's what I keep telling Lisa. I'm like, look, I've been offered $500,000, $600,000 to fight. Come on. She said no. She says no. And I talked to Dr. Margaret Goodman, which a lot of us know in the
Yep,
boxing world.
Vegas, right?
And she's I will never fight again. She read all the reports about the stroke, and she said, no,
She said no. You should
no,
never do it
Christy,
again.
you will never fight again.
And and what
She
she
said, "I
what she
can't
means
call
by that
up-
is, yeah,
I can't call up and say, HEPA. I can't call up and say this happened, but you will never fight again."
yeah, yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I think you're doing okay.
I'm doing okay.
I think that, I mean, your path is pretty good still. And honestly, you fought Layla Ali.
Yeah.
Listen, that doesn't need explanation because Layla Ali was a different weight class than you.
Like 4 different weight classes.
Yes. So, and this is why I hope that Amanda Serrano knows that you paved the way, because there was nobody really for you to fight. That was a big fight, but that was also like so many different weight classes. She was so much bigger. She was undefeated. She's also the daughter of Muhammad Ali. Like, pretty cool. Like, you fought Muhammad Ali's daughter. With that being said, did you get to meet Muhammad Ali?
I had met Muhammad Ali before that.
So you didn't need to fight her to beat him.
No. No.
How was that? So, like, because listen, I'll be honest, like most of the world, I didn't follow women's boxing that closely. I did know who you were because you're on the cover of Sports Illustrated in 1996. I got Sports Illustrated, so I saw them. I'm like, oh my God, I know this late. And then I met you 2 years later. That was pretty awesome. But how was the build up to that? Was it a proper build up to a big fight?
Oh, it was crazy, especially in those times. Yeah, we did a lot of really cool promotion.
Who was your promoter at the time? Was it Don King still?
Nope.
No.
He wouldn't promote the fight. And he had released me in 01. I think it was he and Jim had some problems. So I was out there doing my own thing. And Yaya, who was Layla's husband at the time, was the promoter. And
That was the promoter of that fight?
he was the promoter. So
I didn't know that.
yeah, we sold out the Biloxi Coliseum. More people came to see us fight than had been there to see Roy Jones fight, which was pretty damn cool.
That is cool, especially in the 90s.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it was just crazy because there were so many people there that were telling me, oh, so many black people came to me. Christy, we know we know we're black, but we really want you to kick her ass because she's so arrogant. And I'm like, oh, okay, yes. And I really thought, look, I didn't know how big she was until the first press conference we did together.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh shit, this woman's big. But I still thought I'm gonna hit her like she's never been hit.
Mhm.
She's not gonna be able to take the power.
Mhm.
And I believe that to this day. I still believe that. But she hit me first. She hit me high on my head, and early in the first round, I was done.
Yeah.
I was able to hang in there. I think it was the third or fourth round, whatever. But I was out.
She caught you early.
Oh, I was out the first round. Everything was sideways. I thought I was walking like at a tilt. Yeah. Tough fight. It was a lot of fun with the promotion. A fight like that today would just come on. We'd be
Shatter
we would
records.
way bigger than anything that's happening.
Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor. So this brings my next point is this, and we talked about it off air too, but the women are making a big deal now about going 3-minute rounds. You were going 3-minute rounds back in the day when it was just normal.
So I turned pro in 1989.
1989. I
I-
was 6 years old.
Oh, I'm glad you were here with us. So I turned pro in 89 and fought 3-minute rounds.
Because
I
that
mean,
was just
it
normal,
that's
right?
what you did. I mean,
Yeah.
the rounds were 3 minutes. So it was never anything but 3 minutes. So for them to think that today as they're like creating something new,
Yeah.
I did this way back in the day. And not just I did it, the ones before me did it. The ones
Yeah.
that were fighting like Dora and Cora Weber, Barbara Buttrick, they were all fighting 3-minute rounds. It's not a big deal. But I am an advocate of the 2-minute round for women.
You are.
I think the guys should fight 2-minute rounds. Have you seen the boring shit we've been seeing?
Yeah.
Did you see the Times Square stuff? That was
Oh, yeah,
horrible.
I did.
Horrible.
I seen Devin Haney running for
Are you
that many
kidding me?
rounds. Yeah, that was not.
But at 2-minute rounds, you have no time but to be action.
Yeah.
I loved it. As a fighter, 2-minute rounds. And I really do believe that if we're going to see what we saw in Times Square from the
Yeah.
men, then they needed to go 2-minute rounds too.
To be fair though, that's a one-off, right? Like most fights are not like that. We've had some historic wars in the 3-minute rounds though. So I don't know if I agree with you 100% on that one because we've seen some wars, and I think that what I like about it. Go ahead.
But how long has it been since we've seen one of those wars?
I mean, you're not wrong. No. But what I think about that is to go 12 3-minute rounds, it separates people. Okay. You can get a guy that can go 12 2-minute rounds. Yes, 100%. And it would be very exciting. But I think what happens is you have the guys like Sugar Ray Leonard and those guys going 15 3-minute rounds. And those fights were exciting. Sugar Ray Leonard, Thomas Hearns, Roberto Duran, the four Kings, like they were going 15 rounds, 12 rounds, and they were exciting at 3 minutes. So I don't know if it's the time constraint that's slowing us down from that. I think it's something different. I think there's a cultural change maybe.
It's the participation trophies. Because now it doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
let me get a trophy.
There you go.
You know, make sure my baby gets a trophy. No,
Yep.
you have to win to get a trophy. I mean, that's what's wrong with the world. It's not just sports. It's everything. You have to win.
Yeah.
At least try to win.
Yep.
And have some incentive to try to be better.
I wholeheartedly agree with that 100%. Which, okay, listen, I'm going to say something controversial and you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but you just remind me of it. So my wife was a professional tennis player for 10 years. She played on tour. She played Wimbledon. She played the French Open, Australian Open. She played everything. She beat Venus Williams. Like she did some amazing things. My wife she's a rock star. We have 3 kids now and she's a rock star. But the reason I bring it up is because you're also a women professional boxer. I got to have your take on this because how do you feel about men competing in women's sports?
Really? You really think you need to ask me that?
I
Because
have to.
I think, are you kidding me? As a man, you want to compete against women? And I'm sorry. I'm all about if you want to transgender, whatever, that's your choice. And you should be able to do that.
Yep.
But with any decision we make in life, there are consequences. And one of the consequences of making that decision in your life is you're no longer going to compete in sports.
Yep.
It's that simple. So, I mean, do you just want to compete against women? That's why you're doing this?
Yeah.
No, no one should be transgendering because they want to compete in sports.
I mean, I had to ask it, and I 100% agree because, like I said, I have a daughter now as well. I have 2 boys and a wife that competed professionally in women's sports, and we're just like, let's protect women's sports. Like, how do we not see that? Like, how you're not, if you're a true women's advocate for sports, how can you not see that you're protecting women, especially when it comes to boxing? That's my biggest thing. Is like, okay, a male plays in tennis. Okay, he beats the woman, whatever, but he doesn't hurt her. In boxing or combat sports, I'm like, this is a man competing against a woman. Like you could hurt her, seriously hurt her because men are built differently. And I'm not taking anything away from women at all. Not in that way. Because
Those are just facts.
and they are. And that's all I'm saying is like, I sparred as a professional boxer. I was 15 years old though. And I sparred with a woman, but it's different. Like it's just different. And I don't think it's fair. And if my daughter grows up and wants to play professional sports and she has to play against a man, it's not cool. Like it's not. And I agree with you 100%. Whatever you want to do with your personal life, I'm okay with. You want to transition? Fine. It's not my body. It's not my choice at all. But you kind of lose that privilege to compete against people that were born your same sex.
100%.
And I feel like that, and I said controversial. I feel like, how is that even controversial? I don't know. It shouldn't be, right? I feel like that should be common sense. And it's a little wild to me that it's not, but it has been. But pivoting away from all of that craziness, I'm just happy to hear about you in the 3-minute rounds. But you also talked about, you're an advocate now though of 2-minute rounds, even for the women.
Oh yeah, for the women, not for the guys. I'm just saying it to be in a little bit like sarcastic, I guess. No, I agree with you 100%. You know, with the 10, 12 3-minute rounds, you separate, you find out who the elite fighters are. But I think even with women's boxing, what we sell people on is the action. Let's show that, because we don't have the same kind of power. Even though I did have 31 knockouts in 2-minute rounds. Isn't that amazing? I had 31 knockouts in 2-minute rounds, but now they want to have 3-minute rounds because they think they'll have more knockouts.
No. And it didn't work.
No.
Amanda Serrano did it right here at Crib Royale at the Box Lab promotions. It didn't happen.
And they were sure she was going to knock the girl out, but what didn't happen?
And she threw so many punches too, but it didn't happen.
No.
It went 12 3-minute rounds. And honestly, I was there live and I think you were too.
Yes.
It wasn't exciting.
Yeah.
And I appreciate what Amanda Serrano's doing and I love Amanda Serrano, but it wasn't exciting at all.
No. So why not give the fans what they want to see? They want to see excitement. Give them that.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Which is why you were a
because you're
trailblazer
not
in
going to
that
get
division.
paid more. They're not going to get paid more by fighting 3-minute rounds.
And that's the thing. People always talk about it. Mike Tyson, I think, even said it. Maybe somebody else might have said it. It wasn't Mike, but maybe there's like, I don't get paid for overtime,
Exactly.
right? Like
100%.
if I could knock him out the first round, get him out of there.
All my guys, if you can get them out, get them out. They ain't paying overtime here.
With that being said, so you promote now, Christy Martin Promotions. Do you feel like you are a leg up on the game because you are competed at such a high level? What would you say? What's your pitch? I guess you don't really need a pitch, to be fair. You're Christy Martin, but what's your pitch to signing new people? Which, by the way, I think you signed somebody new today that's actually here too. We can talk about him in a little bit. But what's your pitch to people? Like you're a former pro boxer. You're Christy Martin. You're a big deal. You have Christy Martin Promotions. You're trying to grow that brand. You're trying to make it a big thing. What's your pitch when you sign people?
Because I care about you, the fighter, as a fighter, but I care about you as a person. So it's important to me that we do this thing together. And what I want is to help you put a belt around your waist. It's not about me, it's about you. And I think so many people in boxing, coaches, trainers, promoters, they get caught up in it's about them. Well, it's not about me. I've already done my thing.
Yep.
My thing is to help you become a champion. And that's it. I mean, I'm just real. I don't want to get into your business, what you do on a daily basis. I don't want to, I don't really get too involved in your training, but sometimes I have a little say.
Yeah. Because
and it's
though,
hard.
but you
It's
know,
hard
though.
to not. It's hard to not
Yeah.
when you see something you're like, oh, I just don't think this is right.
Yeah.
So it's hard to not say.
Yeah.
But I just want the fighters to know that I care about them, and I want us all to become champions together.
Yep.
And that's what it's about. And I I'm fortunate through my career. I made great relationships with Mauricio Suleiman, with Roberto Mendoza.
WBC, you're wearing the WBC outfit right now.
Always,
Let's
always.
go.
With the BA, with the IBF, I have good relationships with all the major players. So hopefully we can, and it's not about it's not about how good you are, really. Unfortunately, it's about who you know and how you can move around,
Yeah.
and you fight this person at the right time, get moved up a little bit.
You're
That's
so
all it
right.
is.
I say it all the time. I'm like, listen, and this is what I unfortunately learned in my years and years of being around professional sports and professional athletes in different sports, even, but also in boxing, is that it's not really what you know, it's who you know, and it does matter. It does.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it does. But you know what though? It does. But also, I think people like you, and I hope people like me, Craig, everybody else, we can change that game. And it's not just necessarily who you know. It's what you can bring to the table. It's what you can do. If you're good, I want to put you out there. Like if you're good, you deserve to be highlighted. You deserve to be out there. And I think sometimes we don't do that. Sometimes we stifle people. I mean, a prime example, Floyd Mayweather, Bob Arum. He was with Top Rank. Floyd Mayweather was. Bob Arum told Floyd, said, "You will never make money. Your style is not appealing to the average person." And it wasn't, to be fair, it wasn't. And you're never gonna make money. And Floyd Mayweather's like, you know what? I'm gonna count on myself. I'm gonna bet on myself. And he paid $750,000 to get out of the contract. At the time, Mayweather was like 20-0. And you know as well as I do, he probably wasn't making that kind of money, right? To get 750 grand and to make his way to where he's at now was pretty amazing because he bet on himself. And look where he went. He went to the stratosphere. I mean, this is Floyd Mayweather. Like him or hate him, I'm indifferent about certain things, but the guy was a genius in the ring. He was a technician. And also business-wise, did you know that at MGM Grand, Floyd Mayweather at MGM Grand, where if the Beatles played there, Floyd Mayweather gets a percentage of all the sales on that night from MGM Grand. If the Beatles go and do a concert there, they just get paid whatever their fee is. But Floyd actually gets a percentage of the concession, a percentage of the posters sold. He's the only person that ever negotiated that, and he did it himself.
That's the whole thing. As fighters, as business people, there's so many little, you take a little percent here, a little percent there, it all adds up to a big percent.
Yep.
But we only look at the, we only look at the purse. We only look at the big number. No, if you get a little here, a little there, and then it all adds up to the great money that Floyd's made.
He's making silly money. I think he was the first boxer to eclipse like over $1 billion in sales and something crazy, which is insane. But I said this last night actually on my Facebook page, and people are calling me crazy. But in the last 25 to 30 years, which is when I really started watching professional boxing. I mean, you might disagree, and it's fine if you disagree, but I think boxing, money wise and purse wise and viewership wise, right now is at the highest level it's ever been in the last 25 to 30 years.
Purse wise, money wise, viewership wise, I don't know that I agree. They're making crazy money, but I feel like we're not gaining fans, and I really feel like we're losing fans. I feel like we've lost fans, and maybe it's because we don't have the new generation, the young generation. The young people aren't tuning into boxing. I don't think. I think they're tuning into the MMA stuff, the UFC, the bare knuckle boxing. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
They're like the real fight stuff. Like, no, the real violent stuff. Boxing is not violent. Boxing is an art.
Yep.
And it's
It's a
like
sweet science.
we're not growing that fan base.
So, I mean, I only disagree because if the purses are increasing, then who's watching that? Who's paying for that? Because purses are only increasing
Turk and
based on
those guys.
viewerships.
Turks, and they're losing tons
Oh
of
my
money
God.
over there.
So that's a different story because yes, this guy is just he's printing money and just handing it out. He's like, "Hey guys, I'm printing money. I get that oil money. I'm just printing it." Which is yes, you're right. But before him, you still had guys like Canelo Alvarez making 35, 40, 50, 80 million dollars. You had Tyson Fury making that kind of money before Turkish Al Sheikh even. So this was 3, 4, 5 years ago. They were making that money. So when you say that, I don't think you're wrong, but also I'm just like, if we're making these kind of purses, and it's not just the Turkish Al Sheikh guys that are making these purses, some of these guys you've never even heard. I mean, Amanda Serrano's making $8 million and she's not with Turkey.
Right. Okay. But
the viewership has to be because somebody has to pay these promoters to pay these fighters, right? So commercially, I think it's at a high.
I don't know. I mean,
How are they paying them?
Is Al Heyman still in business?
That's a very good question because it's kind of like there's an in between there because he's in the middle of Amazon Prime paying. They're like trying to buy him out, but PBC still kind of exists, but it kind of doesn't. That's a very weird little transition right now. But yeah, he was original about 10, 15 years ago, and I had Nelson on our show a couple days ago. And we were talking about that because the PBC, I made some of that money on PBC.
Yeah, because they were paying crazy money.
Crazy money.
But they had to be
Didn't
losing.
make sense.
No,
They were.
because
they were trying to invest.
So I think all the money's lost from that group.
Yeah, it did.
Right?
They're suing them,
so,
I think now.
And so who's really paying that now? Canelo has generated that kind of money. He has huge fans from Mexico.
Follow their fans, man.
But now this money's coming from, Saudi. I don't know. I don't.
But the Jake Paul money's not coming from Saudi.
But
how do you explain that?
But because Jake Paul doesn't have fight fans. Jake Paul has social media, TikTok fans.
But with that being said, you said the younger generation is not coming up, but I think Jake Paul is bringing the younger generation because the YouTubers, the TikTokers, they're following Jake Paul. But they're not fight fans. Yes.
But are they watching...
I don't think so. I think you're right. No. And that's where I think people missed that point is that I think Jake Paul has, if anything, what he did was he had all of those fans and he added the actual boxing fans because they hate him so much.
Yeah.
And it sells. But he's actually added some of the boxing fans, and not some. I think a lot of the old heads, I called them, which is me too, technically. Yeah. But so he's added some of those fans to his fan base because when I talk about this on social media, I make posts about it. I'm just like, listen, I mean, like the kid's making money and he,
look, you can't hate on him. He figured it out. Number one, he figured out how to get paid, and you can't hate on him. And like I say, he's doing what he's doing, but he's helping so many fighters. Look at, Griffin got beat last night, but look at the opportunity that he was given to him.
Yep.
And he's given to so many young male fighters. And then again, what he's doing for women's boxing, I mean, not enough can be said about it.
Yeah, I mean, the people don't talk about that enough, I don't think, because like you're a great women's boxer, Hall of Famer. You know this. And I think that of all people, you would respect this, and you said it, but Amanda Serrano made $8 million in her last. I think she's going to make more this one because it's on Netflix.
I hear it's 14.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine?
Men don't make that.
No.
Some men don't make that.
Can you imagine me being promoted by Jake Paul? As much shit as he likes to talk. And I loved it.
Stratosphere.
Oh
You'd
my
be
God.
through the stratosphere.
Man.
I just wish I was your agent or manager in that time. Because
I just wish I was like 45. 43. Holly Holmes at 43.
43.
I could do it.
I mean, listen, I don't know. Like, I do know because you've already said it that Margaret Goodman, she's
Yeah, I had
gonna
the
cancel
stroke.
you
I know.
out. Lisa probably is gonna overrule that too. So is Champ, your dog, is probably gonna overrule that too. It doesn't want mama to get hurt, and you're doing okay otherwise. But well, who couldn't use an extra $10
Are you
million?
kidding me?
Who could use an extra? Who
Right.
could use an extra $1 million?
Right.
Like, we'll be okay with a
Yeah.
million. I'm okay with give me
Yeah,
a
yeah,
million. I'm cool with that.
Right.
I can make that last.
Absolutely.
I can stretch that out.
Yeah.
So, as women's boxing is going right now, it's in a very good place because Katie Taylor is getting ready to not rematch. This is a trilogy. It's the third fight. How do you? Okay, that's a good question. I want to weigh in on that. Have you watched those two fights?
So I was in the house, Madison Square Garden for the first one.
Okay.
And even going there that night, I was like, you know what? They're telling me that they've sold out the garden. There's no way that two women sold out the garden. We're sitting there.
It was real.
Row 2, garden was sold out. Not only was the garden sold out, but when Katie Taylor came out, crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, the electricity
From
in the
England.
building was nuts.
Jeez.
Now I'm thinking we're in Madison Square Garden. This is gonna be like Puerto
Serrano.
Rico.
Yeah, Serrano.
No,
Really?
Katie Taylor had the fans there.
You know what's crazy is like the English follow their fans, and so do the Mexicans.
Yep.
Why the heck is that? Like nobody, like the Puerto Ricans do too, but they're
Yep.
not as big. There's not as many Puerto Ricans, obviously, as the
But
English.
they're in New York.
I know, and that's just little Puerto Rico most of the time,
Yeah.
right? Miguel Cotto always fought there.
Yes,
That's kind of wild. In house, it was like a pro Katie Taylor crowd.
it was 100%.
That's
I couldn't
insane.
believe it. And then the next morning, we were at the airport, and there was a guy like checking in next to us who was from England. He had not been to the fight, but he could tell me all about it. He
I
said,
know.
I mean, so that this, and it was an older guy. So
Yeah.
this guy, an older man, talking to me
It's
about a
commercial,
women's
man.
boxing fight. It was awesome.
I was gonna say, how'd
It
that
was
make
like-
you
It
feel?
was awesome. I was like, wow, it's arrived. Women's boxing has arrived. And a trilogy?
For women's
For
boxing.
women's boxing? Are you kidding me?
And it's a trilogy, technically.
of real
Amanda Serrano,
fights.
but also Amanda Serrano's 0-2.
Yeah.
So like, why would there be a trilogy? But there's a trilogy because that's why I brought it up. I actually thought Amanda Serrano won the second fight, and I think a lot of people did too. That's why there's a trilogy, because otherwise, Amanda Serrano's 0-2. A trilogy doesn't make sense if you look at it on paper. A trilogy makes 0. So they're like, why would there be a trilogy? Because she's 0-2. But I think a lot of people thought Amanda Serrano won. I did too. I thought it was narrow, but I thought she won bigger than Katie Taylor won the first one. So that's why I actually, as a boxer, I understand the trilogy. But if you think about it, Christy, 0-2, how does that make for a trilogy?
I don't know. But you know
And
what?
they're making a ton of money.
But on paper, dollars,
Yep.
it's why it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it is gonna, huge viewership. Netflix is doing it. It's a great platform. Women's boxing has, it's gonna shine again. But these two women, they could fight 100 times. And I think, 99 times we're going to have a great fight.
It was amazing. Both of them.
99 times there's going to be a great fight.
I'm telling you, on the podcast. So every year on the podcast, I do we do an end of the year roundup, or like fight of the year, knockout of the year, all that stuff. My fight of the year, and it was their first fight. I think it was 2021 or 2022. Was Amanda Serrano, not men or women fight of the year. My fight of the year was Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, not men or women of the year. Fight of the year in general was Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano. And that's my first time ever I'm a male professional boxer, amateur boxer. I follow it, obviously. But I was like, not male or female. No. I go, fight of the year was Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor.
I can't argue.
And how?
Because that fight not only was a great fight, combative, close, equal, all those things, but what it meant for women's boxing, and not just women's boxing, but boxing.
Yeah, it was so
amazing.
amazing.
Because they brought more boxing fans back to boxing. Oh wow, these women can fight. Hell yeah, I'm going to watch them. People have gotten away from boxing. So what they want to see blood and guts and wars. That was a war. I asked you earlier, when was the last time we saw a war? Well, that's when the last time we saw a war.
It was a woman's
Taylor
fight, yeah.
Serrano.
The
1 and 2.
Yeah. The last men's war that I could say, this right off the top of my head, though, there's probably some recent ones, but like was Mickey Ward and Arturo Gatti. Everybody knows.
And how long ago was that?
It was a while ago.
Yeah.
And they had a trilogy, but it was worth it for sure. I mean, I'm not. I should be better up on this, but like there's been some pretty decent fights as of late with men for sure. But you're right. I think ones that stand out to like the traditional average fan, the commercial fan, is like Arturo Gatti, Mickey Ward, or Amanda
Barrera,
Serrano.
Barrera Morales.
Gosh,
those guys.
I mean, any
I mean-
Manny Pacquiao's fights too. Manny Pacquiao too, like it was amazing. Early ones, Manny Pacquiao, Barrera, Manny Pacquiao, Juan Manuel Marquez, like
Oh my
those
god.
fights
Though, yeah.
were insane.
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah,
Yep.
those are the last ones. But also, those were 3-minute rounds. For the
Yeah.
men.
I'm with you on the
Okay.
3-minute rounds for the guys. I'm 100%. But for the women, I think, hey, we don't have the same knockout power, but we can bring the same excitement. We can
But-
bring more excitement.
But you
If
have
we
the
do
same
2-minute
knockout
rounds.
power.
Well, you know, it was different.
Christy Martin was different. I mean, 100%. Like you were like when you brought that up, though, I was just like, I didn't even need to think. That wasn't even in my like. So like when I do the podcast, like I don't even take notes. I'm like, I want to. Here's the deal. This is why I have people on the podcast. I go, I want to have a conversation with people that are interesting.
Yep.
I want to have a conversation with people that I actually want to know stuff about. And when you said all that, I was like, man, I didn't even think about any of that. I was like, you knock people out as a woman pro boxer. And I'm not trying to highlight woman, but it's true though. Most women, even now, even Amanda Serrano was very well known to be a knockout artist. But then when she started stepping up and like fighting like these last like 2 or 3 years, she hasn't really knocked anybody out. But she's getting ready to set the record for the most knockouts as a woman boxer. And she did step up in weight too. You're very right. But she hasn't had a knockout in a hot minute.
Right.
You
And
did, though.
it's my record. It's my record.
That
If
she's
she-
gonna
if she
break.
breaks it.
I
And
think
you know
she only needs one more.
And that's fine.
But I don't know if she'll get it. I don't know if well,
she'll get it
Oh, yeah,
before
though-
she's done.
yeah.
But and that's
Not
fine.
against Tater
I-
because she's not knocking her out.
I think she might stop her. You never know.
Mm.
Anything can happen. It's
I'm-
boxing.
I'm predicting that she won't knock her out. And I'm pretty good on my predictions. And I made the prediction about Chavez Jr. and Jake Paul, which I'm not saying is a brilliant prediction, but I go Jake Paul's going to win in a decision. He's not knocking out Chavez Jr.
No.
Chavez Jr.'s dad's ringside. Do you think he's going to get knocked out in front of his dad? No, because he's already had a troubled relationship, but he's not going to quit. He's
Right.
going to fight till the very end. And I do think Jake Paul does hit hard. Hits harder than people think. He's not going to knock out Chavez Jr.
Yeah.
So I thought that was an easy prediction, to be fair. But I did predict. I go, he's going to win, but also he's going to win on a decision.
Yeah. And Chavez tried for
The last couple
A
of rounds
total-
he did.
I think a total of 30 seconds. With all the rounds combined, I think 30 seconds he really threw punches.
I gave him 2 rounds. My scorecard was 98-92. And I even called it. I was like, my scorecard is 9. We're going to see one of those scorecard, which is the correct one, I think. Because I think he won a couple of the last rounds. It was it. He had a flurry of about 15 to 20 seconds, and then Paul didn't do anything. So he won those rounds. But I was like, there's going to be a couple 98-91s as well, which is 9 rounds to 1. I scored 8 rounds to 2. But you're right, 100%. But that's boxing, and you know boxing better than most people do.
Oh, we know what's going to happen. I mean, and like I said, Jake Paul's figured out how to get paid. More
He's
power to
making
him. And he's helping other people get paid.
Okay, yes, you're right. But also, how do you think he looked though? He's 12-1. I said 13 pro fights. How do you think he looked?
Okay, so let's give him his dues. He's what, 12-1, you said?
12-1 now, yep.
So he said 13 fights, no amateur fights.
0. I think
Maybe he had some
maybe 1 or
barroom
2,
brawls
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
things.
Nothing
You know,
sanctioned.
nothing real. So he said 13 fights in his life. He's been training for what, 2 years? Really? 3 years? Whatever. I think he's improving.
Yeah.
I mean, he's getting better. I would like to see him keep his right foot on the ground when he throws the right hand.
Right?
'Cause
He lifts it
kinda-
off the
He
ground.
lifts it up and kind of looks a little bit like a ballerina.
Oh, yep.
But
That's a little weird. I don't know why he does that now.
well, yeah, you do. But anyway,
Mhm.
he'll figure it out. He'll figure it out. And then once he gets that, that's going to help his power. It's going to also help set up the left hook.
Yep.
But look, the guy's had 13 fights. He has no experience. He's
So-
getting better.
I said this a lot, and I don't know if you realize this either, but I broke it down. I'm not going to say I'm an advocate for Jake Paul at all. I'm not, because like I think other pros have had to go through different steps, and he's had to go through. He did jump the line. He did, right?
Yeah.
He did. He had 25 million YouTube followers, so he jumped the line. I get it. He did, but he's taking it pretty serious. But I looked it up, and so Julio Cesar Chavez was 65-0 and fought a guy that was 1-21.
Wow.
Okay. You can go look on BoxRec's official
Yeah.
record. Okay. Floyd Mayweather in his like 8th pro fight fought a guy who was like 0-7 or something crazy. Canelo Alvarez, same thing. I went back and I showed this to people, and people were like, "Whoa, no, it doesn't matter." I'm like, listen, what Jake Paul's doing, the only thing insane about it is that he's making the kind of money he's making because every fighter builds their fighters this way. Jake Paul's had 13 pro fights, only 13. The fact that he's chose these people that he chose them for a reason because they sell. And also, yes, he's got an edge on them. He could probably beat them, most of them.
Right.
But Chavez Jr., 39 years old, former world champion. There's a lot of world champion cruiserweights that would have fought Chavez Jr. too and beat him, and none of us would have said anything. Would have been like, well, he's a little older, yes, but also it makes sense. Like he's the cruiserweight champion of the world. He's 35 years old. He's fighting a 39-year-old former world champion. Nobody would have gave him that much grief. And now that Jake Paul fought Chavez Jr. at 39 years old, people are really like, oh, this is garbage. He's terrible. I'm like, I know what they're doing. They're doing what they've done. They're doing exactly how you build a fighter. I'm not saying Jake Paul's ever going to be a world champion. I don't know if he ever will. He will get a shot at a title, which is probably not fair. I get that too, but he will. He'll get a shot at a world title. Will he win that world title? I don't think so, but he might. It depends on who's the champion at the time. Zurdo Ramirez, who fought on a card on Saturday as well. Zurdo Ramirez beats Jake Paul. Yes. Jay Apataya beats Jake Paul too. But also those guys are going to be out of the mix probably by the time Jake Paul gets that shot. He's got a chance at a world title, which is crazy to think. He does. Jake Paul has an opportunity to win a world title.
And what's bad about that? So we have young fighters now that were Victor Hernandez, that Craig's training. He's putting in work every day. He's 31 years old. He's been training for years. He had an amateur career. He has 14 or 15 pro fights now. He may not ever get a world title shot.
Isn't that wild?
But he's paid his dues. He's paying his dues. Tony Aguilar, he's 14-2, 2 draws. He's paid his dues. We may never be able to get him to a world title. But because Jake Paul can sell and make so many people so much money, he's going to get a title shot.
How do you explain that to your fighters?
It's very hard. Because now, used to, I bet when you were training, there's no way in hell you were going to videotape and share it with the world, your sparring sessions. Now, everything these guys do, they put on.
Yep.
It's on TikTok. It's on, whatever. YouTube. It's on Facebook. You can find everything you want.
Yep.
And you tell them don't do it, they can't help themselves.
That was like a cardinal sin. We never.
Are you kidding me? I want you to have to work your butt off to find out information about me.
Yep.
But not now.
It's
All you have
easy.
to do is Google it, and you'll find anything you want.
Isn't that wild?
It's crazy.
But I mean, as a promoter now, you have to kind of transition yourself to change to not change. I would say change, but adapt. You have to adapt to the scenarios now because if you want to be a successful promoter, you have to figure out how to explain to your fighters why that's happening, and also explain to your fighters like, hey, listen, I'm sorry that you're not getting a world title shot, and it's not because I'm a bad promoter. It's because of these circumstances. Like, I mean, Jake Paul. He's got 25 million subscribers on YouTube. 25 million.
Yeah. And so now, the fighters that you have, that's how he's doing it. I want to do it like that because I want that kind of paycheck.
Yep. Well, how are you going to get that?
What do you say?
Yeah, that's tough.
How do you tell them no?
How do you do it?
I don't. I tell them I don't think it's a good idea to put your, post your sparring. Don't.
Yeah.
Don't
succumb to that.
Post crazy stuff. Speed bag work.
Yeah.
Little things that don't really matter.
Yeah.
I understand. Post stuff every day. Just don't post what you're really doing.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I try to tell them. I'm like, look, you guys wanted to see Floyd hit the mitts and do all that fancy bullshit. That's not how he really trained.
Nope.
But they think it is.
Yep. So that's the tough part.
Yeah.
I
saw it, and that's what he was doing. I don't care. That's what you saw. You didn't see what was going on when the cameras were off. But they can't understand that.
Like Floyd didn't become a world champion doing those fancy pad work. But people now see that on YouTube and they're like, well, he does this. And that's like, as a trainer, I know Craig probably goes through it too, but as a trainer myself now too, I go through, I'm like, listen, that's BS.
Yep.
I can teach anybody to hit the pads good. I could literally teach somebody, an average Joe off the streets. You come with me long enough, I will put together choreograph a beautiful pad work routine doesn't mean you can fight.
I would tell my guys, I played patty cakes like that when I was in kindergarten because that's what that is.
100%.
It's BS.
It is.
It's not about learning how to extend your punches, twist on your punches, get your butt into it.
Yep. Control your distance. Control that because on the
Distance,
pad
they
work,
have no clue of distance.
yep, because of the pad work, you're controlling the mitt guy holding the mitts is also controlling that distance. Because when you fight somebody, they're not going to be like, "Hey, I'm going to stand right here at the end of your punches. I'm going to let you punch me."
And you run off a 20 punch combination. I'm going to stand right here and wait for that.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
No,
That's got to be tough.
no,
man.
but you can't. These young guys don't get it. But I saw Floyd do that. I don't care what you saw Floyd do. Did you see him running sprints when the cameras were off? Did you see him doing all the shit that he did when the cameras were off?
Yeah.
No.
But see, you know what? I feel like that is our job as the next generation. And to me, that sounds so wild for me to say this right now because I'm 41 years old and I'm just like the next generation. I was like, I thought I was the generation, but I'm not. I'm the next generation too. But so are you. I feel like it is our job in the next generation as former pro fighters, now promoter you are too, and coaches and trainers, that we don't give in to that. We don't succumb to that. Like, listen, yeah, cool. You can hit the mitts real fancy. That doesn't make you a good fighter. Like, I feel like it's on us to literally pass down, like, listen, guys, stop it. Cool. You want to look good doing that? Yes, fine. But that doesn't make you a good fighter. That's not going to make you a world champion. Maybe in time that we get enough views that maybe we get a world title shots, but that's not what's going to make you a good fighter.
No.
Is fancy mitt work.
No.
How often did you do the mitts when you were coming up?
Every day. Pretty much
Yeah.
every day. But we did work. We did real
Yeah.
work.
You didn't do fancy
weeks.
little combinations, right?
No. We did, extend your punches, step in on your jab, turn, twist, combination of 4, 6, 8. It was none of that pity pat bullshit stuff.
Like, and like behind, see, like some of the behind the back
who
stuff.
wants to do that? I want to hit you hard.
Yeah, I don't.
Who wants to hit somebody like that?
I mean, I guess this is a different era. So,
Yeah, there we go.
but that doesn't make it right.
No.
I feel like it's up to the. I say old heads, but that's how I grew up. I remember old heads. We called them old heads, the old boxing guys. But like that, we're that now. We are.
Yeah, but that's why
unfortunately,
boxing's
but I
so
like it.
boring because our generation let it get to this.
Yeah, it's up to us. It is. It's up to us to rescue it back.
We gotta fix it.
I don't disagree with that at all.
We gotta fix it. Craig Duncan's gotta fix it.
Craig Duncan, you have a lot on your plate, which so does Christy, because Christy hopefully just signed Curtis Harper, heavyweight.
Just signed Curtis Harper,
Heavyweight.
heavyweight.
He's going to fight for you. Curtis Harper, who's on the podcast as well. So hopefully guys like that, other guy, I know you have a lot of other guys, Tony Aguilar, you have a ton of other guys too that you're training or that you're promoting, but also Craig's a great trainer.
Craig's a great trainer. We're bringing Tobar Apochi down here this week. We have Devin Parrish.
Let's go.
Keemon Evans, who's just over in, you probably know Keemon. He's over in New Smyrna, Daytona.
I don't actually. Well, so I'm not from Florida originally. I'm from Missouri, but I've lived here. Actually, I've lived here for like 10 plus years now. I can't believe it's been that long. I've been here 10 years now. Over 10 years. I think I might be a Floridian.
Yeah.
Now you're back too. You're a Floridian again too.
Yes.
You are.
I never left.
Are you coming here? You're permanently coming back here.
Yes.
You're not
I think
just like
Amari
buying a
needs to
house and
hire
renting.
me. Maybe I should be your partner. Maybe we should do this together.
Let's go. Listen, they're having another fights July 18th or July 19th. I feel like you should come back on here and we should talk about the fights. Like, why not,
So
Christy?
I'll tell you exactly why not. Because July 18th, Christy Martin Promotions will be promoting their first show at Pachanga Casino in Temecula, California.
Oh my, that's a big deal.
That is a big.
That's a
freaking
really
deal.
big freaking Temecula. That's a
Absolutely.
big deal. They have like a lot. That's okay. You know what? Amari, like maybe I need to go out there. I think I need to go out there and
Absolutely.
enjoy that show because I know Temecula. I've been out there. The wifey plays in Palm Springs and a tournament out there every year in March. It's called Indian Wells.
Yep.
So Temecula is pretty cool. I had a fight out there, not in Temecula. I was in Irvine, I think. But dude, that's pretty awesome. I didn't know you were doing that.
It's way awesome. So we're way excited. We have a great main event. Louis Lopez is going to be fighting
What's the weight class?
147.
Oh, let's go welterweight. That's
Yep.
you're in my wheelhouse right now.
Yep. And the card's loaded. A lot of local guys. Devin Parrish that I mentioned, my kid from Chicago. He's going to be out there. Yeah, we're excited.
How do you go about right now? How do you go about signing fighters? Do you look for certain things, or do you, or what? Because you're fairly early on in the promotion business, right?
I've been doing it since about 2015.
No, you're not. It's 10
Yep.
years, so you're not early
Yep.
on.
So-
You got your feet wet. So how do you sign fighters?
We get so many messages. Please,
You're
help
Christy
us
Martin,
out,
of
help
course.
us out, help us out. And it's all about, you don't want to know the truth. The one thing that's the
Always.
most important to me is that they believe in God. If somebody tells me, no, Chrissy, I don't believe in God. And I'm not even going to say that God has to be Jesus Christ, even though that's my God.
Yeah.
You got to believe in something.
Yeah.
You got to believe in something.
I love that you said that, because I've never gone a single podcast without asking the other person what their belief is. And thank God, 5 years. I thank God for sure. In 5 years I've done this podcast, I've had world champions on here. I've had world champions from England to America to Terrence Crawford to like everybody. Shane Mosley Jr., everybody on the podcast. I've asked every single one of Giovanni Marquez, Juan Manuel Marquez is his dad. I've had everybody on here. Rafael Marquez is his dad. I've had everybody on here that I talk to, and I always ask them. I've never had one person tell me they don't believe.
Yeah.
And I say this to Craig, everybody on the show. I'm like, I don't know what I would do if somebody told. Because think about this though, Christy. I do believe. I believe in Jesus Christ. I'm a Christian. I do 100%. But I also don't judge people for whatever else they believe. But where do you get your morals? And that's kind of where I stop and where I start with things. I'm like, listen, if you don't believe in Jesus Christ, where do you get your morals? Where do you get your wrong and right stuff from? Because the Bible is a pretty good script for your morals, because it tells you a lot of stuff, like, don't steal, don't do all this
Right.
other crazy stuff, right? Like, I feel like the Bible, whether you believe in God or not, is a very good script for how you believe in life and how you treat people and how you do your morals. Like, where do you get your morals from if you don't believe in God? Cool. If you don't believe in God, where do you get your morals? And then if they start telling me certain things, I'm like, well, that's in the Bible.
Right.
So how do you not believe in God?
Right.
So most people don't understand that. But like, that's what I saw. My whole thing with everybody is, if they don't believe, I'm like, okay, cool. What's your morals? Where do you get your morals from? And like I said, they start saying certain things. I'm like, that's God. So I'm glad that you believe in God.
Yeah.
And I didn't even really have to ask you,
Yeah.
but I'm so happy that you do,
Yeah, no,
because I do. I'm thinking it's our duty, right? It's my platform that I have now. I want to put that out there. I want people to know that, like, I believe in God, and I'm so thankful that all my guests so far have.
And if you don't, then number one, we're not going to mesh. We're not going to work. I can't support you 100%, and you're not going to understand me 100%. So that's number one. That's number one thing. But I think family. If I know that you're strong with your family, that's important to me.
Yep.
And then fighting actually comes way down the list, because I feel like we can teach you skills. We'll send you to Craig. You're going to learn some
Yeah.
skills. But it's just who you are is what's most important.
Yep.
We can give you the rest.
Yeah, we can teach you the rest.
We can teach you that other stuff. But
I mean, you're so right about that. Like, I'm so happy when you say stuff like that, because again, you're such a prominent figure in boxing. You're such a prominent figure in women's boxing. I mean, for me, like, I look up to you. Like I met you when I was like 13 years old, and you've had a profound effect on me ever since. And like, I was so happy when Craig told me that you agreed to come on the show. I hope to God that you come back.
for
I
sure.
hope we can have a little back and forth, because I love boxing, and that's where our middle ground is. One, I love God, and I love boxing. So I think we both are good there. So it's 2 and 2.
Right.
So
I
think
do
we
get
meet
so
there.
mad though. I get so mad sometimes in boxing. I'll be like, quitting today. I'm not doing it anymore. I am not doing this. I'm so tired of trying to match fights, because fighters don't want to fight.
Nope.
And it's very frustrating. And so I quit. I quit like lots of days. But then, before the day's over, or by the time I wake up the next morning, I'm right back in there looking at the computer, trying to make matches,
Trying to make it happen.
trying to make it happen.
I mean, I feel like if you're gonna do anything great in life, if you're gonna do anything pretty amazing in life, like, it's just, you're gonna run across those things, right? Like, it's just, those things are gonna happen. They're gonna come up like that. But if you love something enough, and then, actually, that's what I was telling Tony Aguilar's mom. I said, here's boxing. It's a roller coaster,
Yep.
right? And it is. And I go, maybe you guys are on this slide of it right now. I go, but it doesn't matter. If you love something enough, if you're down here, it doesn't matter. If you love it enough, you're going to do your absolute best to come back up this way. right? I go, if you're trying to shoot for the stars and you hit the moon, cool, because that's still pretty freaking awesome, right? Like,
Yep.
so like, he's 14-2, whatever, 14-3, whatever it is. But I'm like, you're doing okay. You're doing something that you love. And if you actually truly love it, you'll pull out of it. You will. You'll be okay. And if you actually love it, you're going to put everything into it. You're going to do your absolute best to drag yourself out of that down, because all of us have been, you've went through losses. You went through
Oh,
downs. I don't even have to tell you, you went through a lot of stuff for sure.
Yep.
And you've dragged yourself out of every single pit hole you've ever been in, which is actually inspiring.
And I'm not special. So with Tony Aguilar specifically, yeah, we are on a roller coaster with him, and he is kind of on a down slide right now. But there ain't no way to go from the bottom, but
Yep.
back up. So
Yep.
that's where we're going to go. We're going to get him back in the gym and back in the ring soon. So Tony will be back on the upswing, and he's going to make it to that title shot. We can't promise he's going to win it, but we're going to get him to the title shot.
I mean, if there's anybody to listen to, it's somebody like Christy Martin. I mean, you've been through everything. Literally, your life has been on the line multiple times, and you dragged yourself out of death scenarios to where you're at today. And like, nobody else can talk about that other than you. Like, you've been literally on the precipice of death.
Yeah.
How many people can say that?
There's nothing like laying on your bedroom floor, listening to your lung gurgle, and knowing that you're dying. And you make a decision. I prayed to God that night, looked through the ceiling, and what I felt like was like into his eyes, and to help me. And I got out.
Do you think that's what's like created such a strong belief in God for you, is in a moment like that? Or did you already believe, or was that moment like, you're like, you know what, this is it, like, I'm on the precipice of death, like literally you were staring death in the eye, like, I can't even pretend to know what that's like, because I don't, but like, you stared death in the eye, and now you're sitting here staring me in the eyes, healthy, completely healthy, and here and doing something that you love.
I believed in God before that, because had I not believed before that, I don't think I would have made it out that night. Who else was I going to ask for help? Who else was I going to ask for strength? But God, help me, get me out of here. And I got out, and I'm here, and I'm good, blessed.
That's the word.
100%.
When people wish me luck all the time, I'm just like, I'm blessed. Like, you can wish me luck. I appreciate that. I get the term, but I was like, there's not luck involved, because God had a plan for all of us all. And I mean, think about for you. I remember just recently, there was a plane crash, killed like 250 people. One person lived. Seat 11A, the guy lived. Okay.
Yep.
I'm like, man, I want to have that guy on the podcast, because I'm like, God had a plan for him. Not that God had a plan to kill everybody either, right? Like, that's the other side of people talk about that. I'm like, no, I'm not saying that, but also he had a plan. God had a plan for you.
100%. I made a deal with God, laying in my hospital bed. If you will let me get out of here, I promise you, I will help one person before I die not have to go through the situation that I went through. And then the arrogant Christy stepped up and said, no, not one person every day. And that's why it's important for me to be here with you tonight, so that somebody hopefully hears what we're talking about. Like, oh shit, if she can get out and she can take care of herself and she can get back on her feet, well, she ain't special. I can do it too.
That anybody can do that.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. Like, you've been through a lot. I know that you've probably had to answer so many questions over the years, especially when there's a movie. There's a Netflix documentary about you. There's a movie coming out with Sydney Sweeney playing you. I mean, Christy, I don't even know. I feel so honored just to be sitting across from you right now having a conversation. And that's the coolest part about it. Like, I don't even know. I didn't even sleep very well last night, because like, I've met a lot of people. Me and my wife stayed the night in Elton John's house in London, England.
Wow.
I've met a lot of really cool people over my years. Boxing people, just Serena Williams, Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer, all of these people that like people like idolize. I've met them all, but I was just like, I lost a little bit of sleep thinking that I'm going to sit next to Christy Martin and talk about boxing.
That's cool.
It has been pretty cool.
That's cool.
So I
But
appreciate
I'm pretty
you.
cool. I'm pretty easy.
You are pretty cool. Like, you're super cool. I didn't expect anything less. I didn't. So like, I expected that, because I feel like, I don't know. I give people the benefit of the doubt. Prove me right or prove me wrong. Whatever you want to do, I'm cool with either way. right? Like if you're a terrible person, I'm like, okay, cool, she's terrible. I'm gonna get through this, but I'm not gonna have you back. Like,
Right.
like that's
Right.
I don't know. I'm not gonna lose sleep over that. But I'm glad that you're like, I knew you were gonna be like, I didn't know this, but I assumed it because I met you and I'd seen you and I met you during probably a crazy time too. And I didn't know that. I'm freaking 13 years old, but probably a crazy time. I had dinner with you and at the time your husband at the time. Crazy. And I had no idea. As nobody did. You probably didn't either, to be fair to that. That's crazy. That is a crazy story. But you're a phenomenal person.
Thank you.
You're a Hall of Famer. There's documentaries about you. There's a movie being made about you. You have a really cool dog that's been sitting here most of this time, is just chilling right below our feet that you probably can't see on the camera. But like, how cool is that?
He's a sweetheart. He's my buddy, and I'm blessed. I mean, I have a great wife who takes care of me all the time. She did she leave again? She probably left again.
No, I see her. She's here. She's talking to
she's-
Craig.
Oh, she's talking to Craig. But yeah, God is good. I'm blessed. What can I say? I'm going to be back here in APK, back to a podcast.
I
I'm
love
so
this.
happy.
So can I get a verbal confirmation from you that you will come back on the podcast?
Absolutely.
Let's
I'm going to be your
go.
partner. I'm going to call Amari up and say, hey, I think there needs to be a partner.
Well,
No.
listen, I love Amari, I do, but the podcast is mine. It's weighing in with Travis Hartman. But no, I agree. I love it. You believe in God. You love boxing. What else is there? Like, I love God and I love boxing. So like I feel like you've hit both of those tags, and I'm cool with that.
Absolutely.
Well,
we're blessed. We're blessed. We're
we
doing
are.
what we want to do.
Right.
We're happy.
We have to wake up
we're-
every day and do boxing. We have to talk
Come
about
on.
it now. It's
Yeah.
easier than doing
Yes.
it, right?
Yes. Yeah, but it was so much fun.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to retire yet. So well, I'm getting we've been talking long enough. So I guess I better wrap it up. But that saves time for us to do it again for sure. But
Cool.
Christy, seriously, I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much. I feel blessed myself that you've came on the podcast and you've shared weighing in with Travis Hartman here in Orlando in the Stadium Club at the Crib Royale. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for taking the time to have us on.
100%. God
Cool.
bless.
Thank you. God has blessed me.
Oh my God, dude. You're awesome. You seriously have to come back, Christy.
You're clapping for. They're clapping for you, champ. They're clapping for you.
What happened?
Let's just enjoy the moment. What happened?